when you want to select something like fur or hair, probably the best method I know of is to use the channels. The color range is going to be a little bit too chunky for that, and so this is what I would like to show you, is how to use the channels. And so I start with the lasso over just the general area that we want to work on. Take a look at the channels. We've got red, green, and blue. We want something that's got the most contrast, but that's not necessarily chunky on the edges. The edges are really important that they stay kind of light and wispy when it's something like fur. So this is a little too chunky, especially if you look over here. This does not have enough contrast. So we're going to go with green. So we duplicate that layer. Command-Shift-I. Make sure that black is the foreground. Option-Delete. It may give you a dialog box that asks if you want content aware, foreground color, background color. Pick foreground color. Okay, Command-D. And now we're going to do some dodging and burning. So if you see this hand here, that's the burn tool, dodge tool. Burn makes darker, dodge will make it lighter. And I have it set at exposure 50, which is its default, which that should be fine for what we're doing. And we're just going to concentrate right now on the fuzzy edge and just sort of paint here. And one thing to keep in mind when you're using dodge and burn, it's a very versatile tool. You can actually make it into, you can use any brush shape, which will come in handy next week. I'm going to show you how that works if you're actually rendering fur, where it's it can be very useful. It's a useful tool to have. So okay, so those edges are looking pretty good. Always have your info palette up so that you can take a look and make sure that what you've got is close to, needs to be 100, and it's not quite there, so we're going to have to work on that a little bit. But it's right here, it's definitely 100. As we're getting closer to here, it's 98, which means that 2% black is going to show up on your image, which you don't want, so we'll have to fix that. Now we go into dodge for these areas, and that is also set at mid-tone 50%, which is fine. And mainly concentrating on the edge. You definitely need to have a pressure sensitive tablet if you're going to be doing this type of work, because all of this is very sensitive to the amount of pressure that you put on it. Okay. And then I would also come back with the burn tool again and bring that in, kind of tighten that up a little bit. Okay, it's pretty good.